Let's get to it. I want to talk about this because it was something I thought watching practice, really watching the latter half of practice and just kind of, I don't know if this is a hot take, but just really thinking about it. Am I just saying this to be provocative, or is this something I believe? And I really do believe this based on what I've seen. Is we always think, who's the best player on the team? And I always say the best all-around player on the team in terms of like being able to do the most things is Elijah Lofton, because he can do just so many things. You're the coaches say that. Shannon Dawson talks about it. Mario, you can play linebacker if you wanted to. Best player at their respective position. I think you talk about a Ruben Bain, Francis Mauanoa, Carson Beck, if he plays like we think he's capable of playing. But really, man, in terms of the best player at their position, NFL, college production, NFL projection, this year production, I would not be shocked if it is OJ Frederique, the true sophomore from St. Thomas Aquinas, and I'll tell you why. Watching him out here, you saw the freshman year, and I'm not a big Pro Football Focus guy. I think Pro Football Focus can get some stats pretty goofy, particularly when you talk about like team defense, team pass defense, offensive line numbers. I mean, just those are units that work in tandem, and sometimes it's hard to isolate. So I don't love Pro Football Focus for everything. In fact, I think sometimes it can be way, way off. But for purposes of just getting facts to what I'm saying, according to Pro Football Focus in 2024, Power 5 cornerbacks with 300 plus cover snaps. So basically, Power 5 cornerbacks that played, Power 4 cornerbacks, I should say. The lowest target rate, meaning the guy that teams avoided the most, Azariah Thomas, number 1, was an NFL draft pick from Florida State Seminoles. Travis Hunter, you may have heard of him. And then number 3, OJ Frederique as a true freshman. Now that stat, which again, Pro Football Focus, take it with a grain of salt, it matches the eye test. I mean, how many times until the Syracuse game did we see people targeting JoJo? It just wasn't, OJ Frederique, I'm sorry. It just wasn't happening, and he was making interceptions, making plays when the ball was thrown to him, and tackling as well. Syracuse game happens. Has an extremely rough time. Targeted, abused really by bigger, more physical, older receivers that excel at contested catches. He struggled, lost some confidence. They went right back at him. We have seen defensive backs, lose confidence when they've been targeted in that way. So the question for me with Frederique was, how's he going to bounce back? He had a perfect year pretty much. And now last game, most important game, he had a tough time. Is that going to kill his confidence? Iowa State game, first quarter, first half, he was really playing well, broke up a pass, didn't look at all like he had lost any kind of confidence. Hurts his shoulder, I believe. I don't know the exact injury. I believe it was his upper body injury. Misses spring. And now you go into fall camp and you say, is this going to be another sophomore slump? We've seen a ton of those at Miami, right? Freshman All-Americas who don't necessarily translate. And we'll see. That story still is yet to be told. But I can tell you, practice, start camp, first few practices, this guy's been unreal. Physical, aggressive, fluid, great ball skills, highly intelligent, just doing everything that you want to see from a marquee corner. He's got the athleticism. He's got the size. He's really got everything you want at the position. And the production's been there aside from one game, which I'm sure is motivating him. He looks stronger physically. He looks big. He's got better players around him, so you can't just avoid him. You got Xavier Lucas. You got Damari Brown. You got Keontae Scott. You got Ethan O'Connor. You got guys that you do not necessarily want to target either. Ethan O'Connor, another freshman that had 4 interceptions last year. Xavier Lucas, you know how good he is. So when we talk about the Carson Becks and the Francis Mauanoas and the Ruben Bains, I think we should be potentially including OJ Frederique in that conversation. Because he did as a freshman. His freshman year was just as good as theirs at a different position. Look at the numbers. And then he seems to be taking those stats both physically and mentally, technique-wise, to go to that next echelon of player. And here's the crazy truth about Miami. We have not had elite corners at the University of Miami. We've had elite, quarterback U. We had the number 1 pick this past year. Running back, Hall of Famers. Wide receiver, Hall of Famers. Tight end, Hall of Famers, Pro Bowlers. We've had some really good offensive linemen, some probably the best offensive line ever in 2001. Defensive tackles, a plethora. Defensive ends, probably less, but we had Ted Hendricks. I mean, it was outside linebacker, but let's put him in that category. Calais Campbell, really solid, good players in the 80s and 90s there. Impactful college players who did play in the pros. Linebacker, Ray Lewis, you name it. I mean, Dan Morgan, go down the line. Safety, Sean Taylor, Ed Reed. Corner. Who would jump out at you as like, this guy is a special elite player? We've had good players, guys that play in the pros. Even recently, we've had guys that play in the pros. But who would you say is like the cornerback equivalent of like a Sean Taylor? Antro Roll is a really good corner for us. He's really more a safety, nickel kind of guy in the pros. Ryan McNeil is a solid pro. But like, who's really that like spectacular corner that All-America becomes a top 10 pick and then becomes a Pro Bowler? I haven't seen it yet. So OJ Frederique and Xavier Lucas, by the way, but let's focus on OJ Frederique. In my opinion, has a chance to be that guy. And Shane Campbell pointed out some good ones. Philip Buchanan, absolutely. Mike Rump, stud. That was the best corner combination in the country that year. So I don't want to diminish what they do at all. A lot of comments about Buchanan. And again, I will also emphasize Rump. Rump was really, really good in college as well, and with a first-round pick. But with Frederique, man, he has a chance to do with those guys. As a true freshman, those guys were not dominant like that. Very few people are. And then to continue that throughout his career, which we'll see if he can, I think he's got a chance. I'm a very, very big fan of OJ Frederique, and I just wanted to put that out there that when we talk about these freshman All-Americas that we're counting on, the Ruben Baines, the Maunoas, who were freshman stars entering their third year, think about Frederique in that category. Now, is the second year going to be like Francis, which basically sets him up as a projected top 10 pick? It's going to be like Ruben Bain, which is more up and down, and then you don't know necessarily what he's going to be as a junior. I think Ruben's going to be great, but we'll see. I'd be shocked this guy's a bad year if he's healthy. So, very, very impressed with OJ Frederique. Hassan asking, do you think OJ is going to be better than Lucas? I am glad I don't have to worry about this issue because we got both of them. Former teammates, by the way, in high school, OJ Frederique and Xavier Lucas at Deerfield Beach. OJ Frederique transferred to St. Thomas Aquinas. Xavier Lucas transferred to American Heritage. Both somehow 3-star players. I mean, I don't know what they, was going on. Frederique, I can understand a little more just because he was playing both ways. You didn't see it necessarily on tape, but Xavier Lucas was running like a 10-5 in high school. He should have been a 4-star, falling asleep. So we'll see how that group develops. But I think based on what I've seen early in camp and what we know from film, I would put OJ Frederique and Xavier Lucas, and by the way, the other guys they have, Damari, elsewhere, above anybody in the country. Evanston Alexis asking, who are the 3 DBs in black jerseys? So I'm talking about like black no contact jerseys. I'm guessing those appeared in like an Instagram video or something like that. What I'll say is some of the players are like banged up, so they have like a black kind of like non-contact jersey, but I mean, they're still having contact. Don't read anything into the black jerseys. I wouldn't. Josh Gross asking, are you going to do these afternoon shows more often? Yeah, well, we don't really do the daily chat here like this in the morning anymore because I'm at practice. Pete cuts out after the media to do the show he does on YouTube, like right after the media session before practice ends, which you could see on YouTube. But I figured you need to get my perspective. And look, I hate to be like, I'm the one that hates being like Mr. Coy, like eyeball emojis. Like I don't want to be that guy, but because of the rules of how this goes, I cannot talk about things that happen outside the media practice. But I want to answer your questions. Just make sure that the people who know what's going on, who are listening to the show, know what's going on and aren't barking up the wrong tree as far as like, hey, we're focused on a player that's really not going to make an impact, and we're ignoring this player who's, by the way, balling at practice. I'm trying to make sure people know kind of what's what as best I can without causing any issues. 818 Cali Kane saying Miami is on ACC Network at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, they were out there recording. was with my man Eric McLean, really cool guy. Roddy Jones from Georgia Tech, cool dude as well. The whole group was there. Andrew Adelson, Tannenbaum, the whole crew was out there for practice, and they did some cool stuff. They also filmed with NBC Nightly News anchor Tom Yamas, Miami native, somebody that I grew up going to the Orange Bowl with at the top of the Orange Bowl in the cheap seats. So always great to see Tom. He's the man, and he did some stuff with ACC Network too, doing some stuff with UM. EJ saying Mike Ryan is going to like the late start on Wednesday. I was just texting with him. We're going to do it probably in the evening, probably around this time, and we'll have fun, man. We'll do great. Kyle's saying if you were on CanesInSight 7.5 million posts and counting, you would know OJ was a stud from his former coach, Coach Macho. That's true. So one of the cool things about CanesInSight, I'll pull it up right here because always got to take advantage of the free plug. But CanesInsight.com, obviously, our website, which includes the most active Canes forum on the planet. There you see the website. Just click on the forums. See the posts. Look at all those 7.513 million posts right there. Almost 19,000 registered members, way more than that. And you scroll down and you see all these different threads. I mean, thousands and thousands of views. Here's a post I did called the Class of 2011, revisiting the Al Golden's transition class. And there you scroll through, people reminiscing, posting GIFs, debating. But what the commenter was talking about, what Kyle was talking about was Deerfield Beach's defensive coordinator, Coach Macho, is a poster on our board. Very active poster. And he's been talking about the tandem he had of OJ Frederique and Xavier Lucas. This is in high school. And he said these guys are both, elite guys. OJ just needed to grow, which he did. He's now a very big corner. Lucas just needed to get used to playing cornerback. So he said it from the beginning. Miami didn't necessarily recruit Xavier Lucas like they probably should have. They would admit that too. They did get OJ Frederique, but the first guy to really push those guys, Miami guys, was Coach Macho. That's the cool thing about CanesInSight. It's got a lot of former high school coach or current high school coaches, guys who coach these players, guys who coach against these players, guys that really know football on the CanesInSight message boards. Plus, there's just random anonymous people that like to start arguments. Some of the funniest people you've ever seen, and just really knowledgeable people. Maybe some people aren't that knowledgeable, that get yelled at, and just a lot of different folks on there. That's why there's 7.5 million posts. If you're not on there, join for free today. It's totally free. The #1 case community on the planet.